Welcome back to CryptosRus. I am George. We're all George. So, welcome to another market open stream. Today we have another banking giant jumping into Bitcoin. And of course, this is ahead of the big FOMC Fed meeting. So, let's talk about what to expect today and why this banking giant is jumping in. All right, let's do this. Welcome, guys. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. Look at the U.S. market right now, right ahead. Nope, not ahead. There is the market bell. Today, the U.S. market is looking pretty green. This whole week so far, Monday and Tuesday, has been kind of sideways, right? But today, people are expecting good things to come out of Powell. Bitcoin is still holding above 27,000. You can see slowly trending upwards. That is fantastic. Overall market cap is still up about 2%, but we will see how today goes. We have a giant FOMC meeting that is coming up right around 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time or 2:30 Eastern. I will not be streaming that today. Unfortunately, I have something else I have to do. But I do think I know what is going to be said. Okay, so what is that exactly? Powell's just going to say a whole lot of nothing today. So I don't believe there will be any rate hike announced today. Okay, I think that's already locked in. There's a 99% chance that there will not be another rate hike. Okay, that I think it's a certainty. What's not certain is what he may say, what people will press him on for the next FOMC meeting, which is coming up in November. That's not too far off, right? About a month and a half. That is what people are concerned about. Is he going to be dovish or hawkish? Is he going to maintain this hawkish stand that he has been maintaining for well over a year? Okay. Or is he going to say, okay, well, you know, we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, basically. We get to see, we see the light, which is, you know what, we're done and we may actually start cutting, right? So if he goes down like that road, I think that'll be overall pretty fantastic. So here's a good look going all the way back from September 2020 till basically a few months ago, the last FOMC meeting. You can see the U.S. GDP has been falling like a rock, okay? Except the last reading, somehow it ticked upwards, which is surprising. You can see unemployment also ticked up, but not too bad. But what did tick up a lot is core inflation, which is still very elevated. The good thing is, this last reading that we had, core inflation was elevated, but did not go up anymore, right? So it kind of stopped. That's what we want to see. So the problem is, and you can see, of course, the Fed fund rate is just skyrocketing, right? Where we are right now, like 5.25 to 5.5. The problem is, if we see unemployment start going up and core inflation still heading higher due to, I don't know, China or oil or more printing, the U.S. government is now printing $1 trillion per month. Think about that. The problem is, if those things continue to escalate and move higher, then Powell will be forced to give us another rate hike, right? But as of right now, the data is slowing down and holding, so there's no reason for him to go any higher. Right, which is why it's most likely going to look like this, okay? We will be basically going sideways for a little bit until 2024, and then when things cool off more, then he's going to start cutting, and that's going to be sometime mid of next year, and that'll be fantastic for markets all around, okay? Once we start cutting, it's going to revitalize the market once again. Businesses will start spending more and borrowing more, and that, of course, leads to more economic activity and so forth, right? So hopefully that's going to come sooner than later, and hopefully that's what Powell is going to say today. that he sees the light at the end of the tunnel, okay, and that at the end of the tunnel, he's going to start cutting. And that's sometime mid of next year. That's right, Liv. I just covered that the other day. Right now, without a debt ceiling in the U.S., we are accruing $1 trillion worth of debt per month right now. Per month. So that's 12 trillion, where I'm paid for 12 trillion more debt per year. That's how much we are printing now when we don't have a ceiling. This is why we need a ceiling, because a lot of people argue, why do you need a debt ceiling? Right? Just don't have one and print unlimitedly. That's what's happening right now, okay? And you can't tell me that's a good thing. You can't tell me that uncontrollable debt and printing is a good thing, right? And that's exactly what's happening right now that people are not paying attention to, which is why we have Bitcoin, of course, right? So today you have a huge giant, another giant from Japan. I don't know if I could say this right. Nomura. I think that's how you say it. But they are a 500 billion with a B investment bank, okay? And they're launching their Bitcoin adoption fund for institutional investors. I wonder why. Why is there so much institutional interest all of a sudden? Well, I think we know why. Okay, because next year is going to be the quadfecta. We also know that BlackRock's in the game. When BlackRock comes in, everyone starts paying attention. Larry Fink, he wants to dominate. I'm not saying him dominating Bitcoin is a good thing, but the very mere thought of dominating Bitcoin has others salivating, and they want to come in too. That's why we have Vanguard and BlackRock and Fidelity and everyone else jumping in, and now you have another banking giant jumping into Bitcoin, right? Now, as retail investors, why we're in it is because, number one, we don't want to see inflation rob us of our buying power. Number two, we like to be part of the most decentralized network on the planet. And three, we want to hold the greatest store of value there is. Nothing has outperformed Bitcoin over the last 10 years. Nothing is even close, right? Institutional investors, though, however, they're coming in is they want to make money. It's pure and simple. Well, retail investors want to make money too, part of the store of value. But these institutional investors, they're late to the game. They know that they're late. Retail has been leading the way, but now they're all jumping in because they don't want to miss out on the gravy train, especially with next year, 2024 and 2025 coming up. They no longer want to sit on the sidelines and watch retail investors make money hand over fist while they still make their, whatever, 2, 3, 4%. Why do that when you can make 1,000%, right? That's what Bitcoin and crypto brings. So that's fantastic. And of course, when you have these big boys coming in and retail investors still DCAing, what happens with the reserves? Reserves keeps on dropping on exchanges. That's what's happening right now. There's just a lot of buying going on from all over the place. That's why reserves keeps dropping. We're now back to 2017 levels. 2017 levels. And we continue to drop more. And here's another chart that shows you have long-term position, you have addresses with over 10,000 in Bitcoin, and volatility. Okay, they are going in opposite direction. Volatility has fallen very, very, very much so. That means Bitcoin is very stable, which is fantastic. You have addresses that's holding above 10,000 in Bitcoin, just skyrocketing upwards, and you have long-term position skyrocketing upwards too. Again, people are not fearful about Bitcoin. People are getting more greedy about Bitcoin, and that's the right move. It's much better to be greedy now than fearful, in my opinion. Because of what's going on in the world, what I just mentioned about irresponsible printing and debt, and also about the quadfecta coming up in 2024. Why would you be fearful of Bitcoin now? this is the time to be greedy. And here, again, it shows Bitcoin in all previous cycles leading up to the halving event. And then what happens after the halving event? Every single time. This time is going to be no different. Okay? This is why. This is why you got institutional investors all salivating, all trying to enter the space right now ahead of the halving event. Next year, we're going to have rate cuts. Okay? We're going to get rate cuts. We're going to get the halving event. We're going to get big institutional money coming in because of spot Bitcoin ETFs. They will be approved. And you got a presidential election coming up. You have the quadfecta happening next year. We're getting closer and closer and closer. We're almost in October already. This year, 2023, is almost over. 2024 is right around the corner. And just to remind you guys how significant each halving event is, look at where we are right now. Every 10 minutes, a block is found and 6.25 Bitcoins gets released. This is only the third halving, right? This next one with the fourth halving will decrease the reward in half to 3.125. Then the one after that decreases it to 1.56. And finally, in 2032, there will be less than 1 Bitcoin being released per block. And then, just look at that, okay? It gets significantly less and less and less and less, of course, as time goes on. There is no other asset on the planet that has an automatic halving of its supply, right, every 4 years. And there's no other asset on the planet that has a finite supply that we know of. Okay, for example, oil, I'm sure there's a finite supply, but there's so much of it, we can't even predict when the end will be, right? Same thing with gold, and gold exists in space, right? With Bitcoin, it's all dictated by code, by the miners, and it will never, ever be changed. It's so different. It's the best asset that we have. There you go. All right. Outside of Bitcoin, what else is there? What else is there going on? We got Coinbase that's launching a campaign to drive crypto legislation in the U.S. This ad campaign will call crypto users to contact their Congress members to support national legislation. Interesting. And why do we need this? Well, we need it because Gary Gensler is still in the office. That's why we need it. No one likes Gary Gensler, not even Brad Garlinghouse, who happens to be in front of the SEC building. I have been in front of that building too when I visited Washington. I'm pretty sure that's in Washington. But yeah, no one likes Gary. And we got so many people still fighting Gary. We got Coinbase that's fighting Gary. We got Ripple that's fighting Gary. We also have Grayscale that's fighting Gary. And Grayscale just happens to be filing another ETF, this time a Ethereum futures ETF, although some have filed for Ethereum spot ETFs too, right? Grayscale is also, they won a big case against the SEC, but it's not over yet. They're still fighting. Everyone's fighting the SEC. And also Binance. Binance is also fighting, and fighting a lot of FUD. CZ is, and basically saying how all the reports about Binance.us is basically false, including one that claimed that CZ took a $250 million loan from Binance.us, which CZ answered, no, they got it backwards. I gave a loan, a $250 million, to Binance.us, which they have not repaid. So it's kind of like he said, she said right now. And they also, of course, are battling the SEC. Everyone is battling the SEC. No one likes what the SEC is doing. So, yeah, I agree with Coinbase. We should all stand together and drive Gary Gensler out of office, right? It's just that simple. It is that simple. All right. that's pretty much it overall. Today's looking so far so good. We'll see what the Powell speech brings, but I think today will be a whole lot of nothing. No more rate hike. But it'll be interesting to see what he says about the next FOMC meeting, whether he remains hawkish or he turns more dovish, and I'm sure we will get a reaction one way or another. Now, the past FOMC meetings have gone like this. After he speaks, the market tends to hold well and then immediately dumps. And then the day afterwards, okay, we tend to recover. So we may see the same thing again. That's been the playbook for the last 3 or 4 FOMC meetings. But maybe not this time around. I mean, we get a huge rally, right? We will see. All right. That is pretty much it. Oh, the only other thing is I announced this yesterday. I'll keep announcing it until Thursday. Okay? Make sure you follow my brand new channel, CryptosRus Plus. More crypto, more entertainment. So I've invited 3 new hosts to produce awesome crypto content for you guys. They will basically follow the ethos of this channel, CryptosRus, and just provide a really good experience helping you guys learn about crypto and being entertained while learning about crypto and staying bullish, right? That's pretty much it. I'll be launching this Thursday, so make sure you follow. And we'll see how it goes, right? So the 3 new hosts you guys know of: Blockchain Boy, Lucas, Joshua Jake, okay, and AJ. You guys know, I think you guys know who these guys are. So heavy hitters, they will be the 3 new hosts, and the very first video will be coming up this Thursday. All right, the link is in the description. All right, guys, let's do some Q&A. All right. So let me scroll up. Let me see if I missed anything. Good morning from Denver. Good morning. Am I streaming the FOMC meeting? No. I will be racing a little bit today and mingling and networking. Let's see. FOMC is already old news. Well, it is, but it is still the talk of the town. Let's see. What else? FOMO Sapien, which is a great name, said, I don't DCA into crypto anymore. I switched to smoking crack. Same thing. That's a great statement right there. Institutional FOMO. Yes, that is right. Gary is like an abusive pimp. Oh, that is funny. That is funny. Did you hear you could transfer your FSD on new Tesla cars? Only temporarily, because they want to increase sales right now. I don't know why they just don't do it across all cars, right? But yeah. Could you get someone to film your hot laps today? I'm gonna try. I'm bringing a friend. I'm bringing 2 friends with me, but I don't know how intense it's gonna be. I think we just follow behind someone else. But I've never driven on a real track before. I've been meaning to, so I may go back later. I think it'll be a good experience. because I never get a chance to really go drive at all. Jose, how could you not be bullish? The world is bullish on Bitcoin. I 100% agree. I mean, just look at this headline. You have another banking giant that's getting involved with Bitcoin, just like all the other banking giants and all the other asset managers and fund managers. They're all jumping in. AJ's not going to be stealing my channel. Don't worry about that. AJ is a good kid. I don't know him too well, but I've spoken to him a few times. He's very excited about coming up with a new video series for CryptosRus Plus, which I actually gave him a few ideas. If he could pull it off, it'll be very entertaining. I would actually want to do that myself, but you guys will have to see. Did I PPF my car yet? No, I did not. I should have done it this year, but now it's starting to get cold, so I don't know if I'm going to do anything. I'm just going to, you know, I spent too much money on my house this year already, so I'm not going to probably do that. Give the Nürburgring in Germany a go sometime. I love to visit Germany sometime just to be able to drive on, you know, some of those highways. What's the highway with no speed limit? It's a very famous highway. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, I would love to be able to just drive around a track somewhere. Swashbuckling, thank you. And yes, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. In about a month. Yeah, the Autobahn. Man, 100 people just listed Autobahn. Yeah, I would love to drive the Autobahn in a nice car and experience that sometime. You never talk about Lego collection anymore these days. I have not built a Lego in probably a year. I stopped buying sets maybe like 6 months ago. Yeah, I stopped buying them. But in my new house, I will have a gigantic Lego room with wall-to-wall cabinets. And I'll have a lot more space for sets. Are you streaming episode 3 this week with better edits? No. Unfortunately, I've been told I can't put up the next crypto gem on my channel anymore. And I removed the past 2 episodes. So we will all have to watch it on distro.tv, unfortunately. And the editing's all done. It's not going to be any better. There have been a few little mistakes. But the episodes will be more entertaining. These next few rounds, because we're getting closer and closer to elimination. Okay, and it's gonna get sad. Oh, there is going to be a max speed limit, huh? So no more unlimited speed? That sucks. Yeah, I'm excited about this. All the good Lego sets are 800 plus. Yeah, I would say all the good adult ones are all like $5, $6, $7, $800 now. They are very, very expensive. The last one I got was the Hulk Buster because I saw it was like 30% off. It was like 500 down to like 300 something or 400 something. So that's the last set I bought, but I did not build it. Jose, no. I mentioned I'll be away at the track today, so I will not be streaming the FOMC meeting. Could these big institutions get into Bitcoin as a hedge on USD? Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Yes. I think, a lot of these big bankers, they're just as fed up as we are, except they're billionaires. But they don't like to see their money devalue or debase into nothing either. Okay. So yeah, a lot of them are buying Bitcoin as a hedge, them personally, and they're putting Bitcoin on their asset, on their books too for their company. So yeah, just like retail investors. I saw the Concorde Lego. I don't know, that plane looks kind of ugly. I will probably get it eventually, but not something I'm excited about. Phew. Don't worry about what DD is saying, okay? People that are ultra bearish all the time are simply projecting how they feel inside, okay? And certain people are miserable and fearful and doubtful because they made a lot of mistakes and now all their confidence is gone and they're just projecting, okay? Why am I bullish? Because I'm projecting how I feel. That's how I feel about Bitcoin. I've been through enough cycles to know that whatever scariness that happens, we will pass it. And the more you learn about money and the irresponsible printing that all countries does, it's going to make you turn to Bitcoin even more because there's just nothing else out there that is like Bitcoin. If you truly understand that and you've lived through a few cycles, there's no way you could be bearish long-term on Bitcoin, right? There's just no possible way. So that's the difference between me and I think everyone else out there. You just can't possibly, there's people that probably pretend they understand, right? Or they're faking it. But if you truly understand how the financial system works, how money works in general, then you cannot be not bullish on Bitcoin. Ming, I don't need to talk about Gary. No one likes Gary. I think we know that. And Gary's attacking everyone. Let's see. Who would you rather interview, Gary or Powell? Me personally, I'd rather interview Powell. Because interviewing Gary will be worse than pulling teeth because he won't answer things. Just like all the times he's answered Congress or Congress people, basically he just goes in circles and answers nothing, right? He's a true politician. So interviewing Gary will be pointless. He's not going to give any answers. Powell dances in circles too, but at least he tries to answer questions, but not Gary. So it's basically pointless to talk to Gary. Gary is exactly, those of you guys that are watching the show Billions, you know, the one ex-SEC guy they hired, the one that everyone hates. Gary acts exactly like that guy, if you think about it. Billions is such a good show. Too bad it's coming to an end. But again, if you guys want to watch a good show that's about a man or men that are just, you know, genius level at what they do, and there's this like really cool like cat and mouse game between good and evil, sort of, right? But it's all about money and even crypto. It's just a really good show. It's called Billions. It's on Showtime. I highly recommend everyone to watch it. That's my favorite show right now. Maybe one of my favorite shows of all time too. All right, guys. I'll let you go. Overall today, so far so good. So far so good. We got a lot of green. What will Powell say? Okay. In a couple hours. I don't know. But I'm thinking it's going to be a whole lot of nothing. No more rate hike. No more on the way. We will start seeing cuts next year, right? That's how it's going to go. But I may be wrong. We'll see. But as for Bitcoin, I'm not wrong about Bitcoin. You got massive institutional interest. You have banks jumping in. You have retail investors that's still DCAing. This is the best asset that we have on the planet by far. It's not even close. So this is definitely a time to be greedy and accumulating. All right. I will see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Have a good one, guys. Take care and subscribe to CryptosRus Plus. Take care.